This video is the second part of the Deceased saga. The video with the first part is linked in the video description. Deep in the shadows of the Batcave, Alfred Pennyworth stood over the lifeless bodies of Nightwing and Red Robin. These were not just Bruce Wayne's allies, they were his sons. Alfred had always been the rock of the Wayne family, the unshakable presence in their darkest moments. But now, the weight of what he had to do was almost unbearable. Knowing he couldn't let Gotham City fall entirely into chaos, Alfred made a fateful decision. Climbing into the Batplane, he soared into the skies over Gotham. Below, the streets teemed with the infected, mindless, raging zombies overtaken by the anti-life equation. From above, Alfred unleashed everything the Batplane had to offer, raining fire on the Horde in a desperate attempt to stem the tide of destruction. Elsewhere in Gotham, Harley Quinn had her own battle to face. Standing before her was the Joker. The man who had manipulated, abused, and broken her time and time again. But Harley wasn't the same person she used to be. She had grown stronger, more independent. And when she looked into the Joker's twisted face, she saw something new, an infection that had turned him into an even more monstrous version of himself. With ease, Harley ended the Joker's reign of terror once and for all. But before she could even catch her breath, she found herself face to face with the birds of prey. They weren't her friends anymore. The infection had taken them too. In Metropolis, Superman was fighting to save what little he could of his city. The Daily Planet had become a refuge for those still untouched by the virus. Superman worked tirelessly, rescuing as many staff members as he could, carrying them to safety within the building's walls. Before leaving, he entrusted Green Arrow and the new Green Lantern, Dinah Drake, with the protection of his family. Lois Lane, Damian Wayne, and Superboy needed guardians, and Superman knew they were in capable hands. With that, he set off for Kent Farm, his childhood home, hoping to protect what remained of his family. Under the seas in Atlantis, chaos reigned. Mara and Tempest, also known as Garth, fought valiantly to defend their underwater kingdom from an infected Aquaman. Arthur Curry, once the noble king of Atlantis, had been consumed by the anti-life equation. His strength and rage were now a weapon against his own people. Mara and Garth tried everything to stop him, but the battle took a devastating turn. A tide of infected blood surged through the waters, and Garth was overtaken. Mara, heartbroken but determined to survive, had no choice but to flee. Flying across the skies, Superman encountered a helicopter carrying Black Lightning and his daughters. He stopped them briefly, urging them to head for the Daily Planet, where they could find safety with the others. But Superman's mission wasn't over. He pressed on, his heart heavy with dread as he approached Kent Farm. Landing on the familiar soil of his childhood home, he was relieved to find his mother, Martha Kent, alive and unharmed. But the relief was short-lived. Inside the house, Superman discovered that his father, Jonathan Kent, had succumbed to the infection. The sight was almost too much to bear. But Superman knew there was no time to grieve, not yet. Scooping his mother into his arms, he flew away from the farm, heading back toward Metropolis. Beneath the bustling streets of Washington, D.C., deep in the fortified Cadmus facility, Amanda Waller stood with grim determination, observing an infected woman restrained in containment. Beside her, Captain Atom stood watch, a silent guardian. Somewhere within the microscopic world of this virus, Ray Palmer, the Atom, was fighting an invisible war. Captain Atom reminded Waller of Plague Protocol B. Palmer had shrunk down to the virus's core, studying its building blocks in a desperate attempt to destabilize it and find a cure. But Waller was impatient. The government had already enacted Plague Protocol C, and she ordered Captain Atom to purge the worst infected areas of the city immediately. Reluctantly, Captain Atom obeyed. As he unleashed his power against the infected in the streets, a sharp pain coursed through his body. Unknown to both Waller and Captain Atom, Palmer had been infected during his investigation. Now, hidden within Captain Atom's body, Palmer microscopically attacked his heart, spreading the infection to him as well. In Metropolis, Superman returned to the Daily Planet carrying his mother, Martha Kentucky. There she embraced her grandson, John, and Lois Lane, but her news was somber. Jonathan Kent had fallen to the infection. Lois comforted her family, then turned to Superman. It was time to begin broadcasting their distress signal. Superman, however, refused to stay. His mission wasn't over. He had to help other survivors. Green Arrow and Green Lantern tried to stop him, fearing he might become infected. But Superman reassured them. Since the outbreak began, he had been using his X-ray vision constantly to avoid exposure. With that, Superman and Green Lantern departed to find more heroes, while Lois began transmitting on every analog frequency, calling for survivors to rally in Metropolis. Far across the sea on Themyscira, Queen Mera arrived with devastating news. Atlantis had fallen and Aquaman was lost to the infection. Queen Hippolyta listened gravely, but Diana, Wonder Woman, made a decision. She would leave for Metropolis to join the remaining heroes. In Keystone City, Superman and Green Lantern found the Flash and Kid Flash. The speedsters had been in hiding since the pandemic start, heeding Batman's advice to avoid the risk of infection. Meanwhile, in Gotham City, Harley Quinn was fighting for her life against the infected birds of prey. Just as she was about to be overwhelmed, Poison Ivy arrived, swiftly taking down their attackers. Together, the two women escaped, with Ivy promising that the Green would keep them safe. Back in Metropolis, chaos erupted as an infected Giganta attacked the survivors at the Daily Planet. The group fought back valiantly, with aerial support from Alfred piloting the Batwing. Giganta's immense strength damaged the Batwing, sending it spiraling toward the ground. But before it could crash, Green Lantern intervened, saving Alfred. Meanwhile, Superman knocked Giganta down, and Wonder Woman arrived just in time to deliver a fatal blow, only for Superman to stop her. The two heroes argued fiercely. Wonder Woman believed the infected should be killed to protect the living, but Superman held on to hope for a cure. Their argument was cut short by the sudden arrival of Cyborg, who ended the debate by blasting a hole through Giganta's head. After the battle, Green Lantern safely landed the Batwing and Alfred emerged. Approaching Damian Wayne, Alfred handed him a suitcase. Inside was a batsuit and equipment, along with a message from his father. "Bruce said you are worthy of the mantle of Batman," Alfred told the boy. "He was proud of you." The two embraced, their shared grief unspoken but deeply felt. Nearby, Black Lightning's daughter, Anissa, handed Flash and Kid Flash her contact lenses to blur their vision temporarily, protecting them from infected screens. Cyborg then revealed the terrifying truth about the infected. They weren't zombies, they were extensions of the corrupted anti-life equation. Driven by the urge to spread the infection, they sought out life to destroy and convert. Suddenly, Hawkgirl plummeted from the sky, barely saved by Wonder Woman. She brought grave news. Captain Atom had succumbed to the infection and was about to self-destruct. Superman and Wonder Woman flew to Washington, D.C., finding Captain Atom hovering above the U.S. Capitol. His body glowed with unstable energy, moments away from a catastrophic explosion. The two heroes acted quickly, grabbing Captain Atom and flying him toward the upper atmosphere. But before they could get far enough, Captain Atom detonated. The resulting explosion vaporized Washington, D.C. in an instant. The blast wave spread outward, consuming Baltimore and other major cities before reaching Metropolis. At the Daily Planet, the survivors watched in horror as the blinding light of the explosion approached. Black Lightning held his daughters close, whispering words of comfort as the wave engulfed them. In that moment, the world seemed to hold its breath, teetering on the edge of oblivion. That's it for today's video, guys. The saga will continue in the next video, so stay tuned to the channel. If you enjoyed this epic showdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. I see you in the next video.